Feast your kids' ears with Pinna. It's entertaining and educational audio stories and adventures just for kids, with podcasts and audiobooks for ages 3 through 12. Discover well-known and original stories your kids will love. From comedy to sci-fi and mystery to fantasy, Pinna has something for every interest that will be sure to leave both you and your kids wanting more. It's a lifesaver for car rides and helping kids settle down before bed, creating a routine that's easy to stick with. Don't miss out on screen-free entertainment that you can feel good about. Right now, our listeners can get 1 year of Pinna at $19.99 for a full access annual subscription, a savings of over $50. Just head to pinna.fm/promo to sign up and use code MOMANDDAD at checkout. That's PINNA.FM/promo.
This episode contains explicit language, and lots of it. Welcome to Mom and Dad Are Fighting, Slate's parenting podcast for Monday, March 13th, the Cursing Kids edition. I'm Zak Rosen. I host another show. It's called The Best Advice Show, and I live in Detroit with my family. My oldest, Noah, is 5, and my youngest, Ami, is 2.
I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom of 3 littles, Henry, who's 10, Oliver, who's 8, and Teddy, who's 6. We live in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I'm Jamilah Lemieux, a writer and contributor to Slate's Care and Feeding Parenting column. I am mom to Naima, who is going to be 10 in just a few weeks, and we live in Los Angeles.
Today's show is brought to you by the letter F. Because our letter writer 6-year-old will not stop saying, fuck you. We've got some thoughts on that. Then we'll do recommendations and, of course, dip into the mailbag.
Hey there, it's Janae Desmond Harris, aka Dear Prudence, here to tell you a little secret I've been holding on to. Slate's Dear Prudence podcast is back. That's right, we're back to answer your questions and hopefully give you some good advice. And as always, I can't do this alone. I'll be joined by our amazing guests who know a thing or two about giving advice.
You should just let 13-year-olds fight. You should not get in the middle of 4 13-year-olds fighting with each other and try and break them up, because you are just gonna twist your ankle or break a finger.
Whether you're a teen dealing with parents,
people can be unpredictable and nonsensical, and sometimes parents and humans in general just don't make any goddamn sense.
spicing up your sex life,
or is it simply, I don't have 2 penises, so I can't do this,
or just need some validation that you're not losing it. I love it when everyone's like, this is a minor issue, it's low stake, as if most of my questions are about peace in the Middle East or something. Dear Prudence is here to help you navigate all the complicated and tricky bits of life, while hopefully helping you see the humor along the way. Each week, I'll answer your questions about overbearing parents, flaky friends, and that one coworker who just won't take a hint. But the most important voice will always be yours. Join us for Slate's Dear Prudence every Friday, starting February 17th. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by KiwiCo. I love family game night. It is so fun to get the whole family together and have a chance to just sit down and do something together. No phones, not worrying about routines or what needs to happen. But honestly, sometimes it's hard to find a game that we all want or to do things that everyone is engaged in. Well, KiwiCo is defining the future of play by making it engaging, enriching, and seriously fun. Henry just completed the coolest project. He made a mini vacuum cleaner. It works not only to pick up crumbs from the dinner table, he's also used it to pick up perler beads from the ground and Legos. It has these big sweepers. Plus, you guys, you don't have to go shopping for all the pieces. It's so great. It all arrives at your door, and then you can do your project as a family. Redefine learning with play. Explore hands-on projects that build creative confidence and problem-solving skills with KiwiCo. Get 50% off your first month plus free shipping on any crate line using the promo code MOMANDDAD. That's 50% off your first month using the promo code MOMANDDAD.
Okay, let's kick it off with our listener question.
Dear Mom and Dad, help. My 6-year-old uses the F word a lot. We have tried to take an ignore it and it will lose its power approach when dealing with cursing. Our kids know that they are not allowed to curse at school and definitely not at their grandparents' house. And they're good so far about following those rules. However, my 6-year-old has started saying, fuck you, which I am not a fan of. I love gentle parenting, and we are trying to parent without using a lot of punishments and rewards. However, I have no idea how to get her to stop. How do I get a 6-year-old to stop saying, fuck you, without using punishments and rewards? P.S. Love your show so much. Have been listening for 5 or 6 years, and you all help bring a little moment of connection and sanity into my life. Best parent of cursing kids.
Elizabeth, what the fuck do you think about this?
I first want to say gentle parenting does not mean that you cannot set limits. It is completely okay, and you should, in gentle parenting, tell your kid when they are doing something that is no longer appropriate. I also think it is completely okay to let your kids curse, but decide that them screaming fuck you at you is not appropriate. Like, these are things that are okay, and a 6-year-old can definitely understand when you say, listen, we let you use these words. They express anger. That's totally fine. The difference between screaming fuck when you drop something or when you're frustrated and looking me in the eye and saying fuck you is huge. And here is why. Okay. So I think, first of all, if you have not already just set that limit, you need to do it. And it shouldn't be done in the moment when it happens. I think that you need to do it when they're calm. I think the other thing is that you, when they are calm, need to have a discussion about what they are trying to express to you. And I, feel confident that the deal is that they want you to know that what you have said or done upsets them. So in what way can they convey that is respectful? And I think that this is important because if later in life they scream fuck you at a boss or at a partner, there are real consequences to that because it holds so much power. They need to understand that now, right? So that when they use that, they understand what they're doing. And I'm just not sure at 6, particularly if people are sort of cursing, like that's allowed, it's totally fine, don't do it at school. Now they've turned this and this is causing a problem. They need some understanding of why, what that limit is, right? And just being told, just like we can't do this at your grandparents', we're not going to do this when we're angry, but here are some other things that we can do.
I would emphasize that these are not words that we should be saying at this point in our lives. That there are things that are appropriate for children and things that are appropriate for adults. And when you get older, if this is how you choose to articulate yourself, that's up to you. But right now, while I'm taking care of you, I don't want you to use that language. I don't want you to use those words. And there can be very serious consequences outside of the house for using them, as Elizabeth said. If you say these words at school, some schools have really, really strict policies, and you can get in a lot of trouble. And also that these words can be very hurtful, that you can convey, I'm frustrated, I'm upset, because it's not like they're saying, fuck, like you said, It's not just like, right. Oh my gosh, God damn it, this thing has happened. It's like, fuck you. And fuck you is one of the strongest insults that you can level towards somebody. It is. Language is a toolbox, and you want to select the tool that's appropriate for the job that you're doing. And so you're not doing fuck you jobs at this point. You're not in a situation where you should need to say something that strong, that aggressive, that mean to someone. So it's unnecessary for you to do it. I'm not familiar enough with gentle parenting to know that it completely eliminates punishments and rewards. I don't know if that's just this particular parent's personal preference, but I do think that, I would reconsider not using punishments and rewards. I don't know that I would reward them for not saying fuck you, but I do think that, if you say fuck you to me while we're playing Monopoly Junior, that could be reason for the game to end. I think
that is an actual gentle parenting technique.
Okay.
You have nailed gentle parenting.
Thank you. I'm like, there's got to be some consequences.
These natural consequences to things, and that is a perfect example.
Okay.
That I will no longer engage with you because the way you're behaving is inappropriate. I still love you, but I don't have to participate in this. That was wonderful. Sorry, continue.
No, that was basically it. That I think you do need to find some ways to show them that there can be consequences for using that sort of language, and it's okay for there to be consequences in the house.
Yeah, especially because the long-term consequences, which you mentioned, might be harder for a 6-year-old to wrap their head around. Like, what do you, job one day? This is like, but like if they say it and they don't get their dessert tonight, or they have to put their allowance into the swear jar, I would think that's gonna, make them think a lot more in the short term. And also, I wonder how much you swear, parent. As you know, like I've got a dirty mouth, and it might be effective to institute a swear jar for everyone in the house. If you give your kid allowance and they swear, they have to put, $1 into the jar. Just like if they hear you swear, you also have to put $1 into the jar. And it's kind of this thing that you can work on together of, cleaning up your language. If that is something that you want to get better at yourself, if you are modeling that swearing, it might be a nice kind of family project rather than just piling on your kid for swearing. Well, parent of cursing kids, please let us know how things are going. Everyone else, do you have a question you'd like us to answer? Send it in. Email us at momanddad@slate.com or send us a voicemail at 646-357-9318. That's right, we have a new phone line and we are really excited about using it. It's so exciting to get a voicemail from you. Again, the number is 646-357-9318. Thrive Market is the go-to for all grocery and household essentials, and the convenience of getting it all quickly shipped to your doorstep is a huge time saver. On top of the massive savings on each order, Thrive Market has a deals page that changes daily, gives cash back on so many brands, and they have a price match guarantee. There are over 70 filters on the website or app. Whether you're looking for certified gluten-free snacks or non-toxic cleaning essentials, you can curate your own shopping experience with the click of a button. I love Mayor hand soap, especially the lavender one. I just got a couple of those big bottles in bulk. I also got Noah, my daughter, some new conditioner with tea tree oil. It's really nice stuff. And had I gotten that at the drugstore, I would have paid so much more. Join Thrive Market today and get 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. Go to thrivemarket.com/momanddad for 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/momanddad. thrivemarket.com/momanddad. This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $700 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at Progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Macy's is committed to creating brighter futures for all and empowering a new generation of leaders. That's why they're continuing support of Girls Inc. all throughout March. Your online or in-store donation will help fund education and career readiness programming, inspiring all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Give back and learn more at Macys.com/purpose. That's Macys.com/purpose.
Let's move on to recommendations. Jamilah, what do you got?
So I've got a strange one. After years of thinking that they were disgusting and just too hot to be eaten, I, thanks to Naima, have been converted. I am now a fan of Flaming Hot Cheetos. They're so good.
It happened.
Oh my God, it happened. So
Had you not tried them before?
I'd had them, but like I don't really like super spicy stuff, and I always thought they were just a little bit too hot to be enjoyable, you know, because like there's like a real heat in your mouth. Like the first few bites are fine, and then like it gets hot, and like if you feel it in your mouth after eating the food, you know, and I don't usually like I like my spicy food to be like spicy while I'm eating, you know, this bite was spicy, but then I can like move on with my life, not like having a lingering heat in my mouth. And so that's why I didn't like these. And also when I was a kid in Chicago, it was popular apparently we have this is a Black thing, the candy lady, oftentimes operating from her house or from a garage and, you know, they buy bulk candy and they sell it. And what they would do is that they would sell Flaming Hot Cheetos with like nacho cheese and maybe taco meat. But I didn't know about this because we didn't have candy ladies necessarily. There was a candy store. I don't think they would have sold them though. Like we didn't have a lot of the candy ladies around my neighborhood. So I wasn't familiar with this. But what I would see on the ground all the time in the 90s were the empty bags with just the remnants of the cheese sauce and the meat. So for years, I thought what I was seeing was vomit. I thought that Flamin' Hot Cheetos made people vomit. I believe this strongly. Like it was a thing. I never talked to anybody about it, interestingly enough, but it was just a thing I carried with me.
Why would you bring?
So you were a kid walking around and just like
disgusted.
This was the narrative that there's just Cheeto puke all over your city.
Yeah, all over town. And so when I would see people eat them, I would just judge them like, can't believe you eat those, you know? Like they make
Don't
people...
you know what's going to happen?
Yeah, and you're going to throw up into the bag apparently because that's also what happens.
It's built in. Yeah.
And so it was not until like in literally maybe the last 5 years that I put together the whole meat and cheese thing and was like, oh my God, that's what I was seeing as a kid. It was not Flaming Hot bags of vomit. Because Flaming Hots were still kind of new, you know? So like, I thought this was like I thought this was like a problem. But I started buying them for Naeem. You know, I resisted, especially like sending them to school because I'm like, oh my God, your hands turn red. You know, you have to go scrub your fingers after you eat them. But, you know, the reason I initially bought them and I gave in was like, well, here's a snack that I can trust myself around. Like, I will not eat Naeem's Flamin' Hots.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized a few weeks ago that I started liking them, you know, and I would just eat a few here and there, but I wouldn't really have a portion of them. That's why I'm wondering,
did you like build up kind of like a, you have to, there's like some prep work involved.
It was like me building up my tolerance over these last few weeks because I would eat like a few at a time and that'd be fine, you know, and then the other day, I think it was like Sunday, we came home and I wanted a snack. And so I just poured us some in a bowl and we each ate some. And then last night I went and got the bag and sat on the couch. She was like, don't eat all my Flamin' Hot salsa for school. I was like, it's fine. I ate so many of them. I have so much regret, but they're really good.
But they're delicious. Don't regret it.
They're so good. They're so good.
Amazing. What a redemption story for
Flaming Hot
Cheetos.
I owe them an apology.
I love every moment of that story. It was amazing.
Elizabeth, what bag of chips are you recommending today?
I have the most boring recommendation after that. I can't even, this is like, I'm recommending number rods. No, so I was just thinking about how I have a lot of like homeschooly things in the house, obviously, but something that we use all the time that I have been using like since they are little are these fun play number rods. They're made by a company, EDX Education. They have a variety of really cool. They have these stacking stones, but these little rods. They're like number rods that you'd find at school. Some of them come in ones, and then there's, you know, longer ones that represent 10 and some medium ones that represent 5. But when the kids are little, they could like make pictures out of them, and they come with a little stack of cards that you can line them up on kind of like pattern blocks. But as they got older, we use them to demonstrate like addition, and we've been using them for multiplication and division, and it just seems like they are so usable for so many things. Like a couple of them will like prop up your phone for things. Like I've just used them. It seems like they are used all the time. They're really fun. The kids get them out just to play with them, but also it gave them this great math sense that I really think they got from this because of the way they talk about like starting to understand, that 5 of the 1s make 5, 2 5s make 10, and then the series of 10s, and that measuring is just doing that same thing. So it's just been a really handy tool as I'm figuring out what homeschool stuff we're aging out of, what's going to stay, those sort of things. This is something that I was like, wow, we've been playing with these for a long time, like including making little letters out of them and just starting to make pictures, and they come in all different colors so you can sort them. Like it is, if you were looking for something that had a lot of kind of bang for your buck for different age groups, learning tool, be able to use for homework help, these are just these great little fun play number rods.
And it's by edX Education. I'm looking at the website right now. It looks like you can get them on Amazon starting for like as little as $10 or $20.
Yeah, they're inexpensive, as things marketed for educating children go. We have their stones too. They have stacking stones that are used for, I think, patterns and things like that, but the kids just really like to play with them, and now they have a really good texture to them, and they kind of flip them over in their hands. I find them very satisfying to hold. Less functional, but they tend to get played with a lot as well.
Cool. Great. I'm going to recommend the Nugget today. Do y'all have the Nugget?
I have 2.
So the Nugget is this modular cushion thing. It's like it's a play couch. It's made up of these 4 foam pieces. There's like these 2 triangle pillows and then these 2 big base cushions, and it's covered in this nice kind of like velourish fabric that you can take off and put in the wash if you need to. But they're so versatile. You can make great forts out of them. Noah is now like really into Ninja Warrior, so we just used the 2 cushions to kind of like line the staircase in the basement so she can do like the wall climb thing.
Did you slide down it that way too?
Yep.
Because we put them on the stairs and slide down. Yeah.
We slide down, and then Noah and Ami start to chant, beat that wall, like they do on Ninja Warrior, and then they climb up the wall. And so it's great for that. But also, we just lost power last week for a couple days. There was a big ice storm. And so we all camped out in the living room in front of our wood-burning stove, and the kids slept on the Nuggets. So they're like very light, too. They're really easy to move around. So they'd be great for sleepovers. Shira could even sleep on it. I feel like if you're like 5'4" or shorter, you can stretch out on it. So the Nugget, it's so versatile. There's like a bunch of different colors you can choose from. Elizabeth, you have 2, so like you can build like a mansion.
Oh yes, and they have seasonal colors. It was, for a while you couldn't get them. Like you had to go on a wait list during COVID for them.
Wow.
And now they are available. I've heard you can buy them and they ship to your home. There's no waiting. But yeah, I like that they have all these playthings, but then we stack ours. You can stack them like a tall square, but I stack mine in the playroom so it looks like a little couch, and the kids can sit on them. So to me, it's like something that also looks put together. It's unlike, I think prior to this, we had a bunch of like old couch cushions and blankets for them to use for forts, and it just always looked like a mess.
Yeah.
So this is like, they can build all the stuff, but it cleans up so quickly.
Yeah, it's light enough for kids to move around. The Nugget, they're not cheap. They're like $250, but like I said, the fabric is washable, and we've had ours now for a couple years. And
for years with zero degradation to its quality, which my children can do a lot of damage. So that to me is impressive.
Yeah.
This is a great recommendation.
The Nugget. All right, well, let's wrap up today with a response to Monday's episode about leashing your toddler. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm with Jamilah here. We used a toddler leash strategically, and I wanted to share a couple situations where we found it very useful that are different than what you discussed. We got a leash that secured well enough that it would break a fall and secured it to both him and us. We considered it more like a safety harness than a leash. We used it mostly for hikes where there was a steep edge nearby. We live in Arizona and love to hike in our mountains and canyons. This was really helpful training because hikes are a time where we want him to explore and not hold our hand the whole time, but we just wanted a little protection against slips. We also occasionally used it for places like the zoo if it was very crowded, so he was free to explore, but we wouldn't get separated. And it was invaluable when I flew alone with him and needed to handle luggage without losing him. Using it strategically like this, he was able to learn to confidently explore, but stay close to us pretty quickly. and he was able to grasp the fall risks on our hikes better than if we just held him the whole time. We never used the leash for times when we wanted him to learn to hold hands, like crossing the street. We just held his hand. Now at 5, we haven't used the leash in years, and we have a confident hiker and explorer who knows how to stay close without holding our hands. Thanks.
Jamilah was right. What can I say? Zach, you weren't here, but Jamilah shared her leashing experience.
Leashes were good for me.
And I never used the leash. I did tell a couple stories after hearing Jamilah's success, in which the leash may have been a good purchase for us.
Team leash.
Yeah. We should say, we did all come down to if you are choosing to use it, you should feel no shame.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, we're really giving people a new leash on life here. Wait, does the leash go around? Doesn't go around their neck, right?
It's like a backpack, and then the leash attaches to the backpack.
Okay, so it's not wrapped around their neck, just to clarify, right?
No.
No. It's safe. It's safe.
Who would have thought that like leashing would be such a generative topic? Not me.
Well, I think people who don't like it really don't like it.
They really don't.
Like they really don't like it. I mean, I shared, for me, it just never appealed to me. It felt like we're going to learn to walk together. But of course, I have several stories where the children got places that had I had a leash, they couldn't have gotten. Jamilah really, I think, sold it for its ability to be an amazing tool.
I think it's just branding. Like calling it a leash might be the big problem. Like, listen, I thought that it wrapped around the kid's necks till a second ago.
No.
We need a different word for it.
We need a different word for it. Harness is good. I think that's what they're generally called now, a toddler harness. Also, if the child wasn't walking too far away from you in the first place, you probably wouldn't notice that they had a harness on. Right? It's that, like, you see when you see the strap extended, it's because they're far, right? You want your child walking super close to you, hand holding distance. If they're not doing that, and you see it proves itself valuable, because a child that small being away from, being a leash distance apart from you can be very dangerous.
I have probably passed tons of people with them and never noticed. The ones I noticed are the ones where they're screaming and the parent is pulling, and they probably needed it.
Yep.
Fascinating conversation. Thank you all for writing in or engaging on the Facebook group. Remember, you can join that group by searching for Slate Parenting on Facebook. You can also send us stories or questions directly by calling us at 646-357-9318. 646-357-9318, or you can email us at momanddad@slate.com. This episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting is expertly produced by Rosemary Belson and Maura Currie. Alicia Montgomery is VP of Audio at Slate. Shasha Leonard voices our questions and listener letters. For Jamilah Lemieux and Elizabeth Newcamp, I'm Zach Rosen. Thanks for listening.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Heidecker. You know me, Tim and Eric, Bridesmaids, and Fantastic Four. I'd like to personally invite you to listen to Office Hours Live with me and my co-hosts, DJ Doug Pound.
Hello.
And Vic Berger.
Howdy.
Every week we bring you laughs, fun, games, and lots of other surprises. It's live. We take your Zoom calls.
Music.
We love having fun. Excuse me?
Songs. Vic said something.
Music. Songs.
Music.
I like having fun. I like to laugh. I like to meet people who can make me laugh. Please subscribe